you get in the way of the Democratic Party, if you question their power, if you interfere with their little fiefdom, they will target you, they will come after you, and they will try and destroy your life. It is rape and pillage. They will burn down the street. It doesn't matter for these people. They will take out innocent people. They will go after your family. They will go after your kids. They will raid, Barron's room, who's a 16-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid. They'll go through his underwear drawer. They'll send the FBI. They'll spy on your campaign. We've seen it all.
Oh, it's like music to my ears. I think it's officially safe to say that Trump and his family members aren't taking the news of his second indictment very well. Clearly, they've received their marching orders and are making their rounds on the right-wing broadcast, trying to do anything they possibly can to defend Donald Trump. Like in this clip, when Kimberly Guilfoyle, Don Jr.'s thing, comes straight from her Halloween party in June to tell everybody that she knows more about the law than Jack Smith.
And as it relates to the law, President Trump doesn't need to get permission from a federal bureaucrat to declassify anything that he chooses. And he doesn't need permission to have a copy of his records in the office of the former president. You've heard a lot about the Espionage Act and heard all of the bluster from special counsel Jack Smith. But there's another law called the Presidential Records Act that undercuts the entire argument. Any record the president or his staff creates or receives in their official duties or capacity is a presidential record. Translation: Donald Trump had the right under the law to maintain custody of his records, whether they were classified or not. So what we're really dealing with is just another example of Democrat prosecutors creating new legal theories to weaponize the law against Donald Trump.
Yep, that new untried law, never been heard of before, that the Democrats just yanked straight out of their ass, called obstruction of justice. And the arguments and rhetoric from these people just got more wild, more wacky, and more dangerous, frankly, with each interview they gave. It's almost like the Fuhrer was watching each interview, and after each one, he called to give a critique and tell him to be even more crazy. Here's Lara Trump's completely reasonable argument. She's not asking for much, just for us to totally wipe out our entire judicial system and start from scratch, because we're holding Donald Trump accountable for the crimes that he clearly committed.
We need to tear apart this system because it is not working and it is totally un-American in the way things have happened. And we need to maybe start from scratch at some point with a lot of the United States justice system. Because, look, if people don't have faith in one of our fundamental institutions like this, we really cease to exist as the same country. And so I think that is where we are right now in America. And I'll tell you, we are fortunate, you point that out, that we have the resources to fend this off. But think about the people whose lives have been ruined by this unending pursuit of Donald Trump.
It is just mind-numbingly crazy to me that these people can't see the hypocrisy in calling us the radical left while at the same time asking for the dismantling of entire federal government agencies like the FBI, and now asking us to totally overhaul our entire judicial system because Donald Trump is now finally being held accountable for once in his life for crimes we can now see not only on paper and pictures, but also on tape. And if you were thinking to yourself, wow, that's probably some of the craziest shit I'm ever gonna hear, well, save some room for dessert, because we still have Donald Trump Jr.'s response to this whole mess. And wow, does he not disappoint. I mean, a sweaty, slurry, handsy Donald Trump Jr. just cannot grasp how much trouble his father is in. Here he is slurring his way through some whataboutisms, desperately getting his fans to try to look the other way.
They know that Joe Biden can't win the 2024 election against Trump. Every week, we learn more about the Biden crime family.
672.
Hey, that's my number. 549. Yes, sir. 321 coming up.
The indictment was not coincidentally released the same day we found out that Joe Biden allegedly got $5 million bribe from Burisma. No. Magically, the day that news breaks, Trump indictment. It's totally coincidence, folks, right?
The Trump team is off the rails, and I'm loving every second of it. Here's little Donnie slurs a lot, trying to go after Jack Smith. At the same time, I think it's dawning on him how much trouble his father is actually in.
Jack Smith, a political hack just like Robert Mueller. Remember the Mueller report, and it was going to be this stuff, and then you see the team of henchmen, etc. He actually wants to jail my father for literally 450 years.
And one can only assume that would be the best 450 years this planet has ever seen. And here's just a delusional Don Jr. trying to get you to believe that there are some Trump haters out there that are now switching sides because they're so mad, they're so disgusted with the fact that Donald Trump has now been indicted a second time, that not only are they now not Trump haters anymore, but they're now going to vote for Donald Trump in the upcoming election.
There's even Trump, let's call it Trump haters out there that are saying, you know what, we've had enough. There's too much at stake here. I'm supporting Trump because he's the only guy that will take this on.
And just in case there's anybody that needs to hear this, that is not happening whatsoever. We have actually worked for years to hold this man accountable, and everything that we have done, all the work that you guys have put in, is now coming to fruition. Nobody on the left wants to see the ex-president of the United States put in jail just because he's a Republican, just because he's an opponent. We want to see him held accountable because he broke the fucking law. Alright, so knowing what you and the rest of the public know about the indictment, after hearing people like Ben, Michael Popak, Michael Cohen, Karen Friedman-Agnifilo, and everybody else from the MeidasTouch Network break this down the way they have after seeing the pictures of the classified records being in the storage closet, on the stage at Mar-a-Lago, spilled over in the closet, in a bathroom, in a bathtub. Now listen to Donald Trump Jr. make a complete arsehole of himself by still trying to get people to believe that these classified documents were always held in a vault at Mar-a-Lago, surrounded by Secret Service agents.
He also had classified documents in his personal garage where he parks his Corvette. Now, you know, that's, I'm sure, much more secure than a vault at Mar-a-Lago, a vault at Mar-a-Lago, a vault at Mar-a-Lago, a vault at Mar-a-Lago, guarded by the United States Secret Service. But, you know, those are details that really don't matter because
you're an idiot, and anybody with half a brain knows that's the biggest steaming pile of bullshit they've ever heard. I mean, does he not know that we've seen the pictures? I mean, I know Donald Trump's trying his hardest to get everybody to believe that the DOJ took these pictures, the DOJ somehow spilled these boxes and then took the pictures to make Donald Trump look bad. But we know it was Walt Nauta that took these pictures. We know it was employees at Mar-a-Lago. Does he forget that we have the security cam footage? Somebody should really tell this asshole we got his father on tape sitting there with classified material on the desk, flipping through it like it was one of his fucking picture books, telling people about, you know, defense strategies we're gonna have if we were attacked by a certain country. And guess what? The conversation wasn't recorded in the vault. And here's little Donnie Red Eyes following in the footsteps of basically every right-wing pundit you're gonna hear today, which is doing their best to try to equate Donald Trump's case to either Hillary Clinton's case, which was investigated thoroughly, or Bill Clinton's Sox case, which has nothing to do with Donald Trump's case whatsoever. That was more about notes and journals and handwritten stuff that the president created himself, not about military documents, not about documents that originated from the government itself.
Guys, remember, when Jack Smith tells you that there's one set of laws that applies to everyone, he's not only lying, but he's essentially mocking you. He thinks we're all morons.
Well, speaking only for myself, Don, I know I do.
He thinks we haven't been paying attention. Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden broke the law, and nothing happens to them, right? Bill Clinton did the same thing, and he was president, so he could get away with it, and he could do it, apparently. But why is that precedent? Why is that standard not being used for Trump?
I'm going to go ahead and guess probably because you have no friggin' idea what you're talking about. And since I know you're not going to listen to me or anybody else on the MeidasTouch Network that can give you the straight facts if you want them, here's somebody you may recognize and somebody you may listen to. You know, the guy that helped your father dodge the whole Mueller investigation. Yep, that's right. Here's Bill Barr to absolutely destroy every one of your talking points.
Now, we can't forget here that this entire thing came about because of reckless conduct of the president. If he had just turned over the documents, which I think every other person in the country would have done, they're the government's documents, they're official records, they're not his personal records. Battle plans for an attack on another country or Defense Department documents about our capabilities are in no universe Donald J. Trump's personal documents. They are the government's documents. This idea that the president has complete authority to declare any document personal is obvious. It's facially ridiculous. That opinion had to do with the distinction between official records, which are records prepared by government agencies for the purpose of government action, and personal documents as opposed to official documents, which are things prepared by the president, such as a diary or notes, which are not used in the government's deliberations. And yes, as to the second class, stuff that the president himself generates, the president has some discretion. But these are official documents. It's inarguable. The president's daily brief provided by the intelligence community is not Donald J. Trump's personal document. Period.
So you know when Bill Barr has become the voice of reason for the Republican Party, things have gone way too far. So just be prepared for the whataboutisms, the finger pointing, the misdirections to try to take your focus off the real issues at hand. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to understand. Say, God forbid, you were to get in trouble tonight. Say you were to get pulled over for a DUI. You know you're not going to get out of that DUI by saying Hillary's emails or Bill Clinton's socks. It's no different here. No matter what happened to somebody else, no matter what investigations found in anybody else, it has nothing to do with Donald Trump and his criminality. This is about Donald Trump and Donald Trump alone. And Evan Corcoran. And Alina Habba. And Walt Nauta. Okay, it's a conspiracy, so we're going to hold them all accountable. Indictment season is just getting fired up, guys. I mean, we still have the case down in Georgia to come. It's going to be a long summer for Donny Boy, so the best place to catch all the updates, the best place to catch all the news is right here at the MeidasTouch Network with some of the greatest legal minds in the game to break it down for you. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. It's free. Tell them Boston Brian sent you. We're going to fight this fight together. We're going to see this through till the end, and we're going to hold these people accountable. Let's go.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.